2021. All right, y'all can see the screen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Leo. You could take it.
All right. For our case one, we did Coca-Cola versus Pepsi, and this is Group 7. Okay, to start off with Coca-Cola, this is Coca-Cola summary. So Coca-Cola is a company that sells products that include Coca-Cola, Diet Coke, Coca-Cola Zero, Fanta, Fresca, Schweppes, Sprite, Thumbs Up, Aquarius, Seal, Dasani, Glacier Smart Water, Glacier Vitamin Water, Ice Dew, Aloha's, Powerade, Topo Chico, Delvive, Fairlife, Innocent, Minute Maid Pulpy, Simply, Ayataka, Fuse Tea, Georgia, Gold Peak, Honest Tea, and Coca-Cola brands are all under the Coca-Cola brand. So the stats on the side are the price range that it opened, which was $55.66. It has a market cap of 240.41 billion. Its beta is 0.69. Its price to earning ratio is 29.83. Its earnings per share is 1.87, and its dividend paid out were 0.42 on the dollar. And now to Pepsi. So Pepsi is a company that operates that has products that include Frito-Lay's, Quakers, Life, and they sell products such as granola bars, grits, oatmeal, rice, cakes, Simply Granola, and what other things? Pepsi, Gatorade, Mountain Dew, 7-Up, Gatorade. I think I would say Gatorade. Okay. Okay, and on the information on the side, it opened at 154. Its market cap is 214 billion. Its beta is 0.75. Its price to earnings ratio is 26.21. Its earnings per share was $5.91, and it pays out dividends of $1.8. $1.8.
Okay, so Coca-Cola's ISS governance score is 4, which is slightly below the average between 1 to 10. Pepsi's ISS governance score is also 4, which shows that both companies are scored identically by the Institutional Shareholder Services. So the pillar scores upon audit is 3 for Coca-Cola and 4 for Pepsi, which gives Coca-Cola a slight edge in that score. And both Coca-Cola and Pepsi have a governance score in regards to the board at 7, which means that both corporations have an above average risk in regards to higher corporate risk within the board members. Coca-Cola has a shareholders' right score of 3 and Pepsi has a shareholders' right score of 2. So Pepsi kind of edges out Coca-Cola in that category. Coca-Cola's score in regards to compensation is right in the middle at 5, and Pepsi's score in regards to compensations is at 6. And you will, you will see this in regards to key executives, because although both companies do not greatly take care of their employees compared to their CEOs, they provide above average compensation to them. In regards to the holders, so Coca-Cola's holders are mostly institutions at 69.43% held by institutions and only 0.64% of shares held by all insiders. The number one holder is Berkshire Hathaway, which is the famous Warren Buffett. He owns about 9.28%. And then it's Vanguard Group and BlackRock are at 2 and 3, which we see in almost every other major corporation. And State Street is always right there too. And then Wellington Management Group and JP Morgan Chase round it off. And the holders in regards to Pepsi are 73.4% held by institutions and only 0.14% of shares held by all insiders. And same thing, you can see Vanguard up there again. You see a Vanguard Total Stock Market Index. You see Vanguard 500 Index Fund, Invesco ETF. You see Spider S&P 500 ETF up there. You see Fidelity 500 Index Fund up there, and Vanguard Institutional Index Fund up there.
Okay, these are the key executives for each company, Coca-Cola and Pepsi. For Pepsi, it's Mr. Ramon Luis Laguirta, who is the chairman and CEO. Mr. Hugh F. Johnston, Vice Chairman, Executive Vice President, and CFO. Mr. Kirk Tanner, CEO of North American Beverages. Mr. Silviu Popovici, the Officer of Europe. And Grace Puma Whitford is Executive VP and COO. And that's for Pepsi. And for Coca-Cola, it's Mr. James Robert B. Quincy, who is the Chairman and CFO. Mr. Brian John Smith, President and COO. Mr. John Murphy, Executive VP and CFO. Mr. Bradley M. Gayton, Sir Vice President and Global General Counsel. And Mr. Manuel Arroyo Prieto is the Global Chief Marketing Officer. And the ESG risk rating for Pepsi is the risk score is 18, the environmental risk is 5.1, social risk is 7.8, and governance risk is 4. And for Coca-Cola, ESG risk score is 25, environmental risk is 9.1, social risk is 10.8, and governance risk is 5.4. The ESG score summarizes that Pepsi has less risk in regards to future sustainability, which scores, hold on, my screen's in the way, being the 15th percentile. Coca-Cola has much more of a risk when it comes to environmental pollution compared to Pepsi. Social and governance risk is also much higher with Coca-Cola. Pepsi does a much better job when it comes to sustainability, since Pepsi has achieved renewable energy goals, sustainable commodity sourcing, and water efficiency goals. Future goals include greater racial and gender equity across management positions. Pepsi, who also provides charitable contributions to Hispanic and Black populations through the PepsiCo Foundation.
Okay, so for the key ratios comparing Pepsi and Coca-Cola, we looked at the current ratio, which is current assets divided by current liabilities. And Pepsi has the better current ratio with many more current assets than Coca-Cola does. Pepsi also has does have a lower cash ratio than Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola currently has more free cash compared to their liabilities. And long-term debt ratio is higher for Pepsi, but that's not necessarily a good or bad thing. It just depends on it's just their debt structure and what their financing goals are at the time. Inventory turnover is higher for Pepsi, which is good. That means that they are selling their inventory faster than Coca-Cola is, which indicates either a better supply chain or more efficient management. And for the profit margin, it is higher for Coca-Cola, which shows that they make more net income from less sales than Pepsi does. So Pepsi might have higher costs per sale than Coca-Cola does. So comparing the balance sheets, we can see that Coca-Cola currently has 11 billion cash, and Pepsi has about 9.5 billion. And if we look at the total current assets of each company, Pepsi has more for year 2020. And for long-term assets, Pepsi also has slightly more. And so Pepsi has more assets than Coca-Cola, and that is because it's a bigger company than Coca-Cola. Next slide, please.
All right. So here's some pros and cons of each company. So on the left side for Coca-Cola, So they have less executive salaries for better compensation for employees. They also have the right for Sprite, which is a popular brand. Also, Coca-Cola has approximately 3,000 soft drinks. So it's a very wide production line. They also have a huge distribution with over 200 nations. And compared to Pepsi, which is so apparently Pepsi has a lower ESG score than Coca-Cola. They also have brand loyalty in regards to Gatorade and Quaker. Pepsi also has a general downturn and increased prices. Emerging markets growing at a reasonable pace, and also Pepsi places a high priority on environmental sustainability, and also launches programs under respect, including preservation of water resources and reduction of land pollution. For that reason, we decided to go for Pepsi as our investment pick, since they have a wide variety of products that range from healthy snacks like granolas and cereals to some lesser healthy snacks like Cheetos. But based on their financials, as we saw on their balance sheet, they have better long-term assets and also short-term assets. So based on that, we just know that the company is a lot more healthier, but it also bigger. And that's our presentation.
Stop recording.